Honko Jishin, Japanese. In this week's Do Something With Your Marketing, we're going to unpack this phrase because it is very relevant to marketers today. Honko Jishin is in a 4-character idiom in Japanese. It means study something old to learn something new. This is an aphorism that I have heard a ton in the martial arts in the few decades I've been studying it. And it means really, when you look at the martial arts, you are studying something that is old, that is hundreds, if not thousands of years old, depending on the culture and the art that you're looking at, and how the people of that time applied techniques, applied knowledge and learning to solve the problems of the day. There's a warlord, and he was marching his troops through, and your farming village was in the way, and you had to survive. How did you survive? What were the ways that you could keep yourself and your family alive? When we look at marketing isn't that old. It's probably, realistically, maybe 500 years old. Really, with the invention of the printing press, the first form of mass media, you began to get things like marketing. And it's only been in the last 150 years that we've really seen marketing take off. That said, that's 100+ years of content. And so when we have folks joining the profession, particularly newer folks, who are like, well, I don't know what to do. How do I set myself apart from competitors? How do I differentiate? Look to the past. Look to some of the things that people have done, and what concepts and timeless principles can you extract from that knowledge, from that information, that you can apply to get today. So let's look at one example. I'm gonna flip this over here. Vintage ads are fun. They're fun to look through. Some of them, by the way, are product of the times. Some of them are incredibly inappropriate for today. Sexist, racist, things like that. So be aware that you're going to be looking at stuff that is not appropriate necessarily for today's culture. But the ideas that were being communicated are relatively timeless. So let's look at this one here, a very safe one. The Victor Standard Adding Machine. This is from the 1920s. What do you see here? You see a promise, right? National leadership. You see the product. You see the unqualified free trial here, which is sort of the offer. You see the pricing, and you see the calls to action below. This is not so different from today's social media posts or Google ads or YouTube ads, right? You still have to be able to communicate something. In this case, they're communicating the benefit to you and then how you get to that benefit. Here's yet another one. From distant lands, send back winged words about a typewriter. There's your attracting information, right? Here's your price, here's your calls to action, and so on and so forth. You have lots of copy. What worked? What about these ads worked this is the 1920s? And what can you take from it to apply today? The Remington Portable, is another typewriter adding machine. All of these are business things, so very much B2B. The 1930s. What was happening in the 1930s? Do you remember? Well, there's a good chance you probably weren't. Most of us were not alive back then. But this was a really, really tough decade to get any business done because of the Great Depression. So what kinds of messaging and things changed in the 30s that were not present in the 20s? The Roaring 20s were very much like today, where people spent a lot of time on brand and on promises and ideas and ideals. And then when you get to the 30s, look at how the ads change. Much more practical, benefits up front. Like, hey, we know that the business isn't going to have a ton of money, so we don't want to spend time on that big brand ideas. We need people to buy the thing right now, because otherwise our business will go out of business. So you can see there's case studies, right? This is a classic case study, what we call today a case study, as an ad, right? There's your call to action. Look, it's even got a thing you can clip out and mail. Isn't it so funny that the things that we think are new or difficult or challenging or problems that maybe we haven't faced before, no, other people have faced these problems before. Other people have had to come up with ways of building marketing that worked for the type of times that you were in. So where is your business? Where is your industry? What decade are they in? What economic conditions are they in right now that you can learn from, and then you can go back and find what was happening in the world or the country or whatever back then. What lessons worked back then that you can bring forward to now. Look at even things like the creatives. Look how different these creatives look now. This is the 1950s. Right? Look at all the cartoons and the hand illustrations. Very, very different. That was a reflection of the fact that things like movies and TV and animations were part and parcel of the culture. Right? So really, really different from just 20 years before, where it was just people doing their work. What do you see now? What do you see in your industry right now? And if you see a certain style in your industry now, say on Instagram or LinkedIn or in email marketing from your competitors, what would happen if you could identify that style, like, lots of smiling pictures and stuff, and then look back at the record and see what came next, what came after the animation phase, right? A lot of equipment phases. Look at this. The people are gone, and now we've got the machines again. This looks a lot like the 20s, doesn't it? History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme. That's the quote, the cliche. Where are you now? Where's your industry now? And what can you do to start to lean ahead and change your marketing to where you know the audience is probably going to go, because that's the way people in cycles work. So to do something with your marketing, look back in order to look forward. Study something old to learn something new. This is vintageadbrowser.com, totally free. Check it out. There's also tons of vintage ads on Wikimedia and many other places. As always, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. I'll talk to you soon.
Want help solving your company's data analytics and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.